They are panicking. Right now, not loudly, not in any way you had catch if you were not looking, but somewhere out there, someone who decided you were not worth the effort is sitting very still, staring at nothing and feeling their stomach drop because you won. And not in the way they prepared for, not the loud way, not the way they could have seen coming and gotten in front of, and spoon into some story where they were always superative, always in your corner. No, you won quietly. You won while they were not watching. And now they're watching and they can't stop. You have probably noticed something is different lately. You have probably noticed the messengers that come in a little too warm. The person who went quiet for a year suddenly liking things. The friend who used to interrupt you now waiting, actually waiting for you to finish your sentence. The room that gets a half second softer when you walk into it. That is not an accident. That is real. That is real. You are not making this up. I need you to hear that before anything else, because I know you. I know the way your mind works. I know that the second something good happens, you start auditing it, looking for the catch, wondering if you are being dramatic, wondering if you are imagining the shift. You are not. You have never been the one imagining things. You were just the only one honest enough to say what everyone else was pretending not to see. So let me be really specific. There was a version of you, and it was not that long ago, who used to walk into rooms already apologizing, not out loud, with your shoulders, with the way you had waited to be invited in a conversation you were already standing in the middle of. You had this whole internal system for making yourself easier to be around. Smaller footprints, lower volume, take up less oxygen, and maybe they will let you stay. And they took that. They took all of that and they called you difficult anyway. Here is what nobody tells you. The people who ignore you are not confused about your value. That is the myth. That is the comfortable lie we tell ourselves, that if they only understood, if they only saw, if we only explained it better. No, they saw. They saw exactly what you were, and they made a calculation, and the calculation was, as long as this person does not know what they're holding, I get to keep my position. Being overlooked was not a mistake. It was maintenance. Think of a specific moment. Maybe it's a Tuesday, late. Everyone's gone home and you're the last one with the lights on. And the building has the hum it gets when it's empty. And you're doing the work nobody is going to credit you for. And you have this thought, this quiet, flat little thought that goes, does any of this land anywhere? It landed. It all landed. Every single hour of it landed. And it was compounding in the place they could not see, in a place they did not know to check, and by the time it surfaced, it was already too big to argue with. Here is what most people don't understand about being underestimated. It is not a wound, it's a cover. Nobody guards the door they think is empty, and while they were busy watching each other, watching the ones who talked the loudest, watching the ones who announced every step, you were building something in the dark, with no witnesses and no applause and no one to perform for, which means it's real, which means none of it was for them, which means it's load bearing. Let me be really specific about the heat because I think you have felt it and you have been calling it something else. You walk into a place you used to walk into and it's warmer now. Not friendlier, warmer. Like something is running underneath the floor. Conversations pause for just a second when you arrive, and then they restart a half tone brighter, a little too eager, a little too pleased to see you. You can feel people deciding in real time how to be around you now. They do. They do. And you go home after and you sit in the car for a minute before you go inside, engine off, hands still on the wheel, and you think, was that worse a word or was that just me? It was not just you. That is the thing about heat. You can't see it. You can only feel it and doubt yourself and feel it again. And then something shifted. I don't think you can name it the day. That is the thing about it. It was not a decision you made in front of a mirror. It was smaller than that. It was a moment where somebody said the thing they always say, the little dig with a laugh attached, the one designed to shrink you by about 2%, and you just did not take it. You heard it. You felt it land and you let it sit there in the air between you like a plate someone dropped. And you did not rush to pick it up. That was it. That was the whole thing. You stopped explaining. You stopped pre-defending decision nobody had questioned yet. You stopped rehearsing conversations in the shower. You stopped translating yourself into a language you thought they had finally accepted. And you started trusting the thing in you that had been right quietly, embarrassingly, consistently right for years. You have not become someone different. You just stopped hiding. And that is what they actually panicking about. I know how that sounds. Stay with me. There are no panicking because you succeed. People can survive other people's success. They build a story around it. Got lucky, knew someone, right place, right time. They can hold that. What they cannot hold is the fact that you did it while being exactly who they told you not to be. That is the part that is burning them up. Because if you were right, then every time they made you feel like too much, every time they used the word intense like a diagnosis, every time they laughed in that particular way, every time they left you off the invite and told themselves you probably would not have wanted to come anyway, they were wrong. Not unkind, wrong. And unkind they can live with, wrong they cannot. So let me tell you what is happening on their side of this right now. tonight. Someone is reading an old message from you, scrolling up, looking for the moment they missed it. Someone is rehearsing a version of the story where they were routine for you the whole time, testing in out on a friend, seeing if it holds. Someone's checking on you more than they had ever admit, in that way where you don't like anything and you don't comment, you just look. Someone said your name last week in a tone they did not plan, and someone close to it, is lying awake with the specific nausea of a person realizing they had access to something rare and they treated it like it was ordinary, and it's gone, and it's not coming back, and it was never the scene they left. They are. They are not reacting to who you are. They are reacting to what you are reflecting back. You are a mirror now. That is all this is. You did not do anything to them. You did not win at their expense. You just stood up straight, and unfortunately for them, a person who standing straight is a very hard thing to look at when you have spent years bent. So let them look, let them scramble, let them rewrite this history. Let them tell whoever they need to tell that they always believed in you. That is not a lie you have to correct. Let them be uncomfortable. Their discomfort is not an emergency, and it's not an invitation, and it's not your responsibility. You don't have to make this easy for them. You don't have to shrink the wind down to a size that fits in their hands. You don't have to say, it's really not a big deal. In that voice you do, the apologetic one, the one that gives them permission to keep thinking of you the way they always have. You don't have to send the reassuring text. You don't have to be gracious in a way that costs you something. You can just be happy out loud in front of them. That's allowed. Let them adjust. Let them sit with it. Let them find the words on their own time, and let it take them as long as it takes, because you're not the one holding the pen anymore. And when they come back, because they will come back, they always come back, you don't owe them the door. You also don't owe them a locked one. You can simply be a person who is busy now, warm, pleasant, elsewhere. You're not being cold, you are being wise. And that thing you were told was your flaw. The sensitivity, the way you feel everything at full volume, the way you can walk into a room and know within 4 seconds what's actually going on it. The way you carried what other people would not even name. That was never the defect. That was the equipment. That is why you saw it first. That is why you built the while they postured. That is why you're here. So, here is what is coming. New people are arriving. People who don't need you to prove it, because they clock it in the first 10 minutes and then just get on with respecting you. Doors are opening in rooms you never applied to. Opportunities are being discussed in conversations you're not in yet, but you will be, and soon. And you walk in already belonging, and the ones who ignored you, they are going to be fined. That is not your problem either way. They will learn or they won't. The story ends the same for you. This is your moment to stop waiting for apology because the apology is not coming. And here is the thing, you don't need it anymore. That is what won, not the outcome. You, the version of you that finally, quietly, without telling anybody, decided you were done auditing. You are already chosen this. You chose it on all those Tuesdays. You chose it every time you kept going with nobody clapping. So go. Take the whole scene. Take up the entire room. You paid for it in years, and nobody gets to hand you a smaller portion now. They are panicking because they finally see you. And you have been here the whole time. They know now. You always did. So, welcome home. Welcome home.